Hey friends, what is up? Hope you're doing okay. I wanted to show you my new little, it's not really a toy, but she's my new little gift to the world, a gift to me. And she goes in perfect for our final science lesson of the year. I'm super pumped to introduce y'all to her. She has quickly become one of my best friends. And what's cool is that these things, they rely on us, they need us, and I feel like I need it sometimes too, but in order for her to live, like, she's got to rely on me to feed her, to give her water, to do all these things. But let me see if I can pick her up real quick here. Come here, baby, come here. You say hey to the camera. Here. Oh, you just say hey to the camera. Nala. Well, as you can see, she's eating a leaf and she knows she's not supposed to be. But friends, like I said, she relies on me, just like so many other organisms rely on their environment to help them live. And so today, we're going to talk about biodiversity. And you're probably thinking, Mr. Reed, that's a really big word. Yep, it is. But I'm going to explain it today. We're going to be good to go. Biodiversity, let's get at it. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with my PowerPoint, just like last time. Let me see if I can find the PowerPoint. Oop. There it is. Now let's go here and let's present the PowerPoint. Okay, so today, like I said, we are talking about, welcome to my new home, by the way. We're at Mr. Reed's new house too. So I'm super pumped to be here as well. But today we're going to talk about biodiversity. And the main question we're going to be answering is, how are the resources available to people affected by changes to ecosystems, such as earthquakes or pollution? Sorry guys, she keeps eating these leaves. So, quick question, what do these three things have in common? You can go ahead and name them. I will say the one on the right, it is a human. Okay, we're just going to call it a human. I couldn't find a free picture of a human on the internet, so this is our human. So what does a squirrel, grass, and a human all have in common? I'll let you think about that. Now, if you're thinking correctly, the correct answer is that they're all living things. All of these things are living, right? Well, how do we know they're living? You say, well, they're made up of what? What are they made of? And how do you know this? They're made of cells, right? They're all made of living cells. Now, they're made of life, right? They're all living things. They're all alive. Now, some of our vocab today, first off, is a living thing. A living thing, you all know this, a living thing is something that is alive, right? But a community is actually one of my new favorite TV shows. But community, what is a community? A community is a group of living things that share an environment. What is an environment, you ask? Why don't you answer that? What is an environment? An environment is the people, the animals, the plants, everything around in the area. And these all make up the community. So for example, on my picture over here, you can see the community of hands coming together. She was eating a rock this time, friends. Now, population. You all see this Memphis population. This is not our Memphis. This is the Memphis in Texas. Okay, there's a Memphis in Texas. But I thought it was really cool because we all know the real Memphis. And there are these signs that say POP 2479. What do you think POP means? You think it means like can of soda? You think it means like popcorn? That's how many pieces of popcorn that they sell per year. What do you think POP means? POP is population. And how did you know that? Because that number stands for the amount of what? The amount of people living there, right? And so population is the individual groups of living things that make up an entire community. We might have to go back inside if we're going to keep eating things. Humans have their own population, just as rabbits do, or the bird sitting on my fence over there. Every living thing has its own population. Do we count trees with the human population? No, right? We only count who? Humans, right? Now let's talk about some parts of the environment. Actually, we're going to go inside. We'll be back for a moment. I'm going to pause you. Hey friends, sorry, had to come inside. My puppy, Nala, we were just too much outside right now to also record a lesson. Yeah, I'll still take her out, but recording a lesson, trying to watch her and teach at the same time, not gonna work. So it's been a long day, guys. Let's get back to the learning. Let's go back to share screen. Here we go. Okay, so we're back. So there's parts of the environment, right? So we talked about how humans have their own population, rabbits have their own population, everything has its own population. So there are different parts of the environment, right? So the parts of the environment are, number one, environments have specific parts that support communities, okay? They support communities. Not only do they support communities, we got to figure out, okay, well, then what's the part of environment, Mr. Reed? Good question. Think about it for a second. What is part of the environment? And how do you know that? What are some of the parts of the environment? Some of the parts of the environment are everything, right? Everything around an organism is a part of its environment. This pillow, a part of my environment. This cord's behind me, part of my environment, and part of my environment. The mirror, right? My TV, right? My puppy. Everything's a part of my environment. Trees. Dirt for a tree. This is just for a tree. So we're going to use a tree as an example. So for a tree, the dirt, the air, the leaves, the animals on the branches, and the weather are all parts of the environment of just the tree. Did I miss anything? I'd say even the water, if there's water around the tree, is a part of the environment as well. And the grass. So how do the parts of an environment support populations and communities in an ecosystem? As you can see, I put two little cute deer here, right? First off, all organisms have basic needs. What are your basic needs? What does anything that is alive need? They need what? Water, food, air, and shelter. Those are the main four things you need to live, that anything alive needs to live. Do you want to say hey to the friends? Just lay down, okay. Water, food, air, and shelter, right? These are all provided by the environment, right? The environment gives it all. So for a forest, let's think about a forest for an example. And inside the forest, you find the what? The deer, right? And so the deer need air, which is around them. Like, that's easy. Their oxygen that they breathe is in the air that is around them. Okay. Then we have water. Water for the deer are found in streams, are found in rain, found in even in snow. Food. They get their food from plants. They get their food from everything around them. Stop. She's chewing on my table, friends. And then last but not least, they hide from predators. Predator? What is a predator? A predator is the animal that comes after them to possibly eat the deer, right? And they use shelter, as in trees and bushes, to even hide from predators. I would say Mr. Reed might even be a predator for deer, right? because I like to deer hunt and eat deer, right? It's actually cheaper, right? So each part of the environment provides exactly what is needed by each organism in order to survive. What is survive again? Ah, 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 staying alive, staying alive, ah, staying alive, right? Surviving, staying alive. Okay? I was singing for the people. You're okay. And then next, the part of an ecosystem where an organism lives, that's called its, you got it, habitat. And a habitat, a plant or an animal that lives in one habitat might not be able to live in another. Can you think of any examples? I'm thinking of one right now that I know that it can live in one spot, but it can't live in another. And if you could see here, I've got a pet, not only a pet dog, but I've also got you guessed it, a fish, right? A fish can't live in what? Land, right? It only lives in the water. Now, how do habitat changes affect these organisms? Though habitats meet the needs of the organisms that live there, they still change over time. Seasons are a perfect example. Can you name all 4 seasons? Great. Fall, winter, spring, summer. Boom. That's all 4. Right? These are perfect examples, right? Some organisms lose leaves, while others grow thick fur coats. Nala's got a thick Nala's got a thick fur coat right now. I don't know if it's because she's a puppy or what, but man, she is thick, right? Okay, cool thing, migration. Do you know what migration is? If not, that's okay. Migration is when birds migrate yearly to warmer areas. It's easier to find food. And then there's hibernation. What animal do we know of that does hibernation? A bear, right? The Memphis Grizzlies, right? Bears use fat stored in their bodies to survive long periods of time of cold by staying in their dens and sleeping during the winter. So I want you to watch this. So these dots are birds, and I put pictures on the left. These birds, I don't know what kind of bird it was, but I found tags, and scientists use these tags to track birds throughout an entire lifetime. This bottom picture, you can see the bird is getting a little tag. We call them a band. It puts it around his feet. Or the bird on top has a little tag on its wing, right? And so if you look, in December, these birds come from here and they move this way. They're right here in December. Now look at January. They're here January 1st. What do the birds begin to do? No, ma'am. She's chewing on my headphones. What do the birds begin to do? Move north. Now, during spring and summer, what do you think the temperature's like up here? How do you know this? Well, we know that it's kind of nice and breezy and more warm. And then when it gets wintertime up here, it gets warmer down here. And so the birds are like, yes, please, yes, please. That's what we want. Now, biodiversity, this is a coral reef. Biodiversity, we're here. Biodiversity is a variety and number of different species found in an ecosystem. Coral reefs are a great example. Inside of coral reefs, you have coral living there. Nemo lives there. Dory lives there. So many different animals live in the coral reefs. So many different fish, lobsters, starfish, everything, a lot of things live in those coral reefs, right? Tropical rainforests. This is important because all natural resources are connected and species are dependent on that. Absolutely dependent on biodiversity. Now, I'm curious to know what y'all think would happen if insects were not eaten by birds. What would happen to the population of insects if they weren't eaten by birds? What would happen if resources to humans weren't available anymore? What would happen to us? Let's think about that now. Anytime a change occurs in environment, everything is affected. Well, what causes habitat changes? Natural changes. So we have droughts, we have fires, we have floods. For example, land animals are forced to move away and may have to create, and it then creates a new home for frogs and fish to live in the area. Earthquakes, volcanoes, extreme hurricanes, tornadoes. It's crazy the amount of habitat changes there are just from natural causes that we have no control over. And then you have these. These are the human effects, right? Habitat changes leads to biodiversity decreasing, which means human resources also decrease. For example, in the forest again, we use, what would happen? What would happen if we cut all the trees down? Cut every tree down. Well, if we didn't have any trees, then I'd have no toilet paper to go to the bathroom. Or you wouldn't have any paper to do your homework on. Or if we didn't have trees, there wouldn't be things on railroads for trains to go through. We wouldn't have air to breathe. If we ran out of trees, we wouldn't be able to do all these things. So for example, in a forest, we use wood to build houses. We have honey in the forest from the bees. We have pine oil that comes from pine trees that makes medicine. And then we have flowers, and the flowers make dye for like paints and my cool shirts, right? And clothing. And then we have mushrooms and nuts that are used for food. And then one day, lightning strikes. It starts a forest fire. And it wipes out the species of every plant and animal in that forest. It's kind of sad to think about, but it happens. And everything goes away. And there's no more wood to build houses. There's no more toilet paper. There's no more homework paper. There's no more honey. There's no more pine oil. There's no more flowers. There's no more mushrooms. It's gone. We can't get it back. And it's sad. And we can't affect that. There's nothing we can do. But we do have a part. What also causes habitat changes? Organisms do. For example, Canadian geese, nasty Canadian geese. You can see them over here. They forage around and they eat grass and they destroy crops. Miss Reed was a farmer. They destroy crops and leads to soil erosion. Makes the soil just wash away and go away. Beavers. They pile up materials to build up dams to back up water flow. I didn't say the bad word, right? The dam, like they build a dam to back up water to make a pond or to make a lake. And then humans, and this is where it hits us. Overpopulation, destroying species habitats, pollution, invasive species, climate change, all these different things. So if you look here, this is a food web. And a food web shows a diagram of what eats what, okay? It starts with the trees, the grasses, and the bushes. The giraffes and the rhinos eat the tree leaves. Sorry, friends. And you know what eats those? Lions. Nothing eats a lion. Rhinos eat this grass, grasshoppers eat this grass, mice eat this grass, deer eat this grass. Bobcats eat the mice, snakes eat the bobcat, baboons eat the snake, jaguars eat the baboon. Baboons also eat the grasshoppers. The birds eat the grasshoppers, the skunks eat the birds. And I think this is a mongoose. The mongoose eats the birds, and the mongoose gets eaten by the buzzard. The jaguar eats this. Jaguar eats, yeah. Ooh, I got confused. I apologize. The jaguar eats the deer, the baboon, this bird, these buzzards eat them when they're dead. Crazy, right? Invasive species, you can see this. This is a cane toad ribbit. An invasive species, guess what? It is when humans purposefully or accidentally introduce new species into a habitat. It can destroy entire habitats. They enter the food web somewhere and they compete for food already being eaten by others. So if we go back and look, let's say we put the cane toad right here. Cane toad's going to eat what? This grasshopper, right? What also eats the grasshopper? The birds. So now the birds don't have as many grasshoppers as to eat, because guess what also is eating grasshoppers? Cane toads. Overpopulation. In just 1 year, the Amazon lost over this much area, which is 1.14 million football fields. 10 times the size of New York City. Over 451 million trees are cut down between August of 2015 and July of 2016. 1.14 football fields. 1.14 million football fields. That's how much was cut in the Amazon. Humans are growing by over 75 million people a year. And we keep expanding and destroying habitats to build houses, roads, businesses, and so much more. Tropical rainforests are being cleared out daily. What do you think is going to happen if we cut all these forests down? Think about it. What's really going to happen? How will the resources that we have, how will they be affected? It's intense. Pollution. I see it in my front yard. People be thinking they can just throw trash in my front yard. You can see the beach here. When something contaminates the air, water, or land, that's pollution. Pollution can kill off a species and cause more carbon dioxide to be in the air. Air quality becomes worse, especially those with asthma, allergies, or even other illnesses. Water's unsafe to drink. Land cannot be used to grow food anymore. And last but not least, climate change. Climate change, humans burn lots of fossil fuels, gas, and coal. This traps more of the sun's heat onto Earth's atmosphere, and it gets hotter, creates those steam waves, which creates a greenhouse effect. And then freshwater resources are decreasing and climates become drier. What will happen to humans if we don't have enough fresh water to support the growing human population? Guys, life's changing. We're in crazy times right now. We can't create new resources for water. We've got what we've got. And we got to be smart about it. And it's up to us to make a change. Friends, I miss you. You're incredible students. Me and Nala say goodbye for now. So proud of you. Hasta la vista, friends. Stay safe. Oh, by the way, don't forget to take the Google Form exit ticket in the link description below. Boom. Didn't forget. Miss you, friends. Stay safe.